This current situation with the Lakers is pretty interesting. At least I found it interesting, in which they fired both Joey and Jesse Buss. Joey and Jesse are the two younger siblings of Jeanie Buss. They're like the two kids from Jerry Buss's like second marriage, I believe. The first marriage, he had three kids, which included Jeanie, and then the second marriage, he had Joey and Jesse. And these two Buss kids, for a while, they had positions within the Lakers organization. Joey was the alternate governor and vice president of research and development for the Lakers, and Jesse was the assistant general manager. Joey is 41, Jesse's 37, while Jeanie is 64. So that goes to show you how Buss had kids very later in life, to add to his collection of already having grown up kids. It's crazy how some of these people have kids really late in life after they've already had a first batch of kids, where their first batch of kids could be old enough to be the parents of their second batch. That's how far the age gap is. And they just want to throw it out there. But both of these Buss kids were fired. And it's safe to say everyone has speculated that Jeanie was behind this because she still has some power within the Lakers organization. She's now the primary team governor, and she's going to have that title at least for like the next 5 years. She'll represent the Lakers during ownership meetings as the governor. But after 5 years, that title is removed and she'll no longer have that position. So she still has some sway, and it's safe to say she could have stopped this from happening by talking to Mark Walter about it, preventing this. I'm sure she could have somehow done something about it, but essentially it didn't happen. And I would say, to be fair, I don't feel bad for any of these Buss kids. Joey and Jesse, they're rich as hell, especially after that sale of the Lakers. I think each Buss kid is worth at least a few $100 million from that $1 billion sale the Lakers had. It was just like a ridiculous amount of money they got. And on top of that, they're still minority owners. They still own a tiny percentage, so they're set for life. It's more like a pride and ego thing from both Joey and Jesse. And I don't think any of them deserved the positions they had. It was a typical Nepo hiring position. Same with Jeanie, but we'll get into that. I just wanted to throw that out there. But she could have stopped this, definitely. I definitely believe that. So I'm just going to read out some quotes from these Buss kids. So this is what Joey said. "We're extremely honored to have been part of this organization for the last 20 seasons. Thank you to the Laker Nation for embracing our family every step of the way. We wish things could be different with the way our time ended with the team. At times like this, we wish we could ask our dad what he would think about it all." That's really a kill shot right there. Right there by Joey and Jesse. And the next kill shot, I would say, is a quote here by Jesse. "Dr. Buss," I'm going to read it again. "Dr. Buss's idea was for Joey and I to run basketball operations one day." Jesse told ESPN, "But Jeanie has effectively kept herself in place with her siblings fired." Yeah, it has to hurt from a ego and pride thing for these two young guys, I would say. I wouldn't say kids because they're grown men, but fairly young when you think about the professional world. Excuse me, that they lost somewhat of their identity with this firing, because granted they're rich, but they don't really have an identity outside of the Lakers. So that's been stripped away. And yeah, I'm sure it has to hurt a lot. Jeanie was able to do that to them. But for me, I find it interesting that not only did they get snubbed by Jeanie, but she also screwed over her older brothers previously from like from Jerry Buss's first batch of kids, which was Jim Buss. Like, he was her older brother, and I remember 10 or 12 years ago her having a falling out with him, the way he ran the Lakers organization, and getting him removed because she had the power as being governor of the Lakers. Once Dr. Buss passed away, she assumed full control of it. He gave her that succession so she could make the decision to remove him. Not to say that Jim Buss was a great vice president, GM, when running the organization. He was terrible. But I always found it funny, even back then, when people were saying like, well, Jeanie's the answer. She's great at what she does. And I'm like, no, what the fuck has Jeanie ever done that was so amazing? Like, there's nothing. Like, and this is where I want to dig into Jeanie being a glorified mascot. There's nothing about Jeanie Buss I ever found amazing when she was in control of the Lakers or being part of the Lakers organization. Granted, she still is. But I just want to dig through her, professional career with the Lakers or even before the Lakers to show you why I don't believe she was ever qualified to run the Lakers even in the first place. So I'm going to read this excerpt from Wikipedia right here. It's only a paragraph. World Team Tennis folded in 1978 and was revived in 1981 as Team Tennis. Jerry once again owned the second incarnation of the Strings, and he appointed the 19-year-old Jeanie as the general manager while she was studying at USC. Basically, my dad bought me the team, said Buss. After the Strings folded in 1993, Buss brought professional roller hockey to Los Angeles as owner of the Los Angeles Blades and Roller Hockey International. The league named her Executive of the Year. So essentially, when she was just even a very young adult, her dad bought her a professional tennis team to run, and then that team folded eventually, and then her dad bought her a roller hockey team for her to run, and she got some awards, saying she was Executive of the Year. So I don't take that seriously. To me, that doesn't make you qualified to run a professional basketball organization. It doesn't carry over in my eyes. So that to me was the first indication she was never qualified to run the Lakers. And then you just look at her start with the Lakers. It says right here, I'm just going to read this excerpt. Buss served 4 years as president of the Great Western Forum, then the home arena of the Lakers. Throughout her stint with the Forum, her role with the Lakers increased, and she served as alternate governor on the NBA Board of Governors since 1995. In 1999, she was named Executive Vice President of Business Operations for the Lakers. Her older brother, Jim, was promoted to Vice President of Player Personnel in 2005. Their father's plan was to have Jeanie handle the business decision of the team, while Jim handled the basketball side of the Lakers. So basically, she was just a glorified Nepo baby. She got a lot of great titles in which she never really had to prove herself. I think the biggest asset for Jeanie was that she was an attractive woman back when she was younger. Like, she was an attractive woman. She sounded good when she talked. Granted, you can say most attractive women, regardless of what they say, are always going to sound pleasant to listen to because it's usually the eyes you're listening to. It's usually your eyes are listening to her body and not what she's saying. So that's how much Korean she had in my eyes, that she knew how to really work the room. She was very good at that, but she was never talented. I definitely never felt she was talented, but the media would always hype her up like, oh, Jeanie's a great businesswoman. She's awesome at what she did. I'm like, what is she doing? She's like really doing nothing. She just has a cush job that she doesn't really have to do anything, and everyone else just runs operations, and she's like the figurehead. She's essentially just like the mascot. I thought the dumbest person really that was hyping her up many years ago was Stephen A. Smith, when he was angry at the job her older brother, Jim Buss, was doing, when he's like, we got to get rid of Jim. Hire Jeanie. Jeanie will bring back the Lakers organization. I'm very confident Jeanie will bring it back. I'm like, what are you talking about, you idiot? Jeanie knows nothing about basketball. She's stupid. She is a bimbo. Like, what can she really do to fix the Lakers when it comes to basketball? Absolutely nothing. And for the most part, she didn't do anything great when she was running the team. They did get lucky in the sense that LeBron signed with them and then AD forced his way there. But I would say that had nothing to do with her. It was just the Lakers taking advantage of being the Lakers. Team players always want to go there. Players will always try to force their way. I don't know. I wouldn't say it has nothing to do with her greatness. If anything, I've always felt that Jerry West is greatly underappreciated for what he did with the Lakers. Without Jerry West, you don't get Showtime the 80s, or even the Kobe Shaq Lakers, or even the Kobe Gasol Lakers to some degree. Grant West was not the GM of the Lakers when they got Gasol, but still Kobe was there, and Kobe was who West drafted. Jerry West was like the most important part of the Lakers management, that without him, you don't get Magic Johnson, through those trades. You don't get just that awesome roster that Showtime had with James Worthy and these other moves that he made, draft picks he made, even just drafting a guy like Byron Scott, drafting AC Green, and so forth. And even throughout the 90s, like the players he drafted, making that move, trading Vlade for Kobe Bryant, not drafting Shaq, but being able to sign him through free agency when that was a big risk, and when the Lakers had to give up a lot of key players to make roster space to sign Shaq. Those are all moves that Jerry made, but it's like he doesn't get credit for that. That it was just Dr. Buss and Jeanie getting credited for all this stuff, really. So I know I went in a tangent right there, but I just always felt that Jeanie Buss is just a glorified mascot who just benefited from being an attractive woman. She kind of had a celebrity thing going on with her, especially when she was dating Phil Jackson. That really upped her profile, and how Phil would always speak highly of her, which helped tremendously in the media because Phil had a lot of clout being Phil Jackson, being a great coach and whatnot. So she was able to use all that to her advantage to set herself up to get great coverage from the media, and to get a great reputation of being this professional woman who knew what she was doing when she never did. I always felt Phil used her as a wedge against the Lakers organization when it came to negotiating his contracts and having personal influence over that, because he was sleeping with her, so he kind of knew she would work in his favor when it came to contracts, and it did, because I think Jeanie was a huge reason why Phil came back the second time, when her father did not really like Phil. It was just Jeanie was able to sway him to bring back Phil Jackson. So I always felt that Phil used her as a wedge, and it was a successful Machiavellian tactic by him. No doubt about it. So yeah, like I said, to me, she was just a glorified mascot who was able to use her beauty and her connections with powerful men such as Phil Jackson, and just some rumors she was sleeping around with these other NBA players. I think, Grant, we can't prove them, but I definitely believe that she slept with Dennis Rodman and several other guys. I just, you could just sense it, like, especially the way she looks at some of these players and the way she speaks of some of these guys, that something must have gone down. So, and on top of that, I think she posed in front of Playboy. I actually do remember she did pose in front of Playboy in like 1994 and 1995. So when you're a beautiful woman, you don't really have to have much qualifications to move up in management in any industry, from what I've seen in my life so far. Like, you don't have to be great. Just your body will do all the work for you, and you will get ahead. Like, I know that sounds misogynist, but I'm not going to apologize for that view, because I've seen that play out too many times in my life. So, and that applied to Lakers. She was a glorified mascot, not talented at all, and she still is one today. She has 5 more years of being a great mascot, and I'm sure she'll bask in that. And then after 5 years, the Lakers will throw her away and replace her with somebody else for the board of governors. Grant, I think it'll probably be Mark Walter who will take that place, and then she'll be off in the sunset, as they say. She'll be gone. But yeah, I just thought I would throw that out there. Long rant. If you watch this video, great. Nothing else to say, really.